Another one. 4 wins from 4 for Villa then, going into the international break. A hell of a lot happier than we were in the last one. Wow, what a difference a couple of weeks can make, eh? And it was a 2-1 victory for Villa over Burnley, the Battle of the Claret and Blues, but there was only going to be one winner out of that, wasn't there? And to be honest, 2-1, I do think flattered Burnley. I think it could have been a lot more. Talk about man of the match, we'll get onto that, but one shout for it was for Burnley. It was Martin Dubravka. He was absolutely fantastic, made save after save, and I think that scoreline could have got pretty ugly for Burnley if it wasn't for him. So to be honest, I do think the performance from Villa was a lot better than the 2-1 scoreline shows, but honestly, I'll take any kind of win. Just our second win in the Premier League so far this season, but 4 wins on the trot, and definitely, I kept saying it when I was doing these videos, we're just waiting for Villa's season to kickstart. It well and truly has now, and a couple of weeks break come at a bad time, you'd say. The international breaks, they come when they come, of course. We know it at the start of the season, there's tons of them, it's so irritating. It has come at a little bit of a bad time because we're hitting our stride, but like I've said, it's nice to go into the international break. You can put your head down on the pillow at the end of the night knowing Villa are back to it and they're winning football games again compared to a few weeks ago. So happy days, things are definitely looking on the up. So we'll take a look at all the action and the talking points from yesterday's victory. And of course, the man of the moment is Donyell Malen, the man pre-season. He lit it up in pre-season. We was all excited, thinking this was going to be his year. We all kind of thought the same a year ago when it was Morgan Rogers had a great pre-season. We all thought, okay, he's going to light up the Premier League this year, and he did. I got the feeling for Donyell Malen through pre-season, and he hasn't had his opportunity, has he? But he did get it yesterday, and he more than took it. And there were some interesting tweaks from Unai Emery that helped Malen unlock himself, really, and show the player we know is in there and the player we've all been so excited to see. Because I was a bit surprised with the lineup when we saw it. Because Emi Buendia has been playing so well in the last few games. He obviously dropped down to the bench. Morgan Rogers obviously kept his place. McGinn was further forward with Bogard and Kamara. We'll get on to them too. Very, very special performance from Lamar Bogard and Boubacar Kamara. World class. I said it last time, I'll say it again. He is absolutely world class. But we'll get on to that. But obviously Marlon coming in, which I was pleased to see. Watkins leading the line, we did expect. Obviously Pau Torres back in. And, obviously with Tyrone Mings out, Pau Torres was always going to play. And Luca Dean came back in for Ian Maatsen. I would like to have seen Ian Maatsen again, but I think it was pretty clear that whoever played the midweek, it was going to be the opposite playing on the weekend. I have no problem. They're both great fullbacks for me, great players. Yes, I'd like to see more of Ian Maatsen. I've been calling for that. I love him going forward. Seems to have got better defensively as well. So I'm sure his time will come. And obviously, Emi Martinez came back in as well with an interesting Instagram post after the game. Again, not really going in chronological order. I'm jumping to after the game now before I've even talked about the game. But he put that post up on Instagram, didn't he, saying tearing the calf, no problem. So I think he was almost having a little bite back at some of the people that had been questioning, including myself. I'm not saying he's seen anything I've posted, but he's definitely seen something that Villa fans have posted, because I think he was trying to silence the doubters that are saying he's not fully committed to the cause, and he is playing through injury. And I'm sure, again, there'll be the questions, well, he's going away with Argentina. If he'd have gone away with Argentina and played for them, because we know how much he loves playing for Argentina, it probably wouldn't have been a great look. So I think that kind of clears it up a little bit. We know he's committed to the cause. I didn't really doubt that. But yeah, he came back in yesterday. I do think Bizot potentially deserved another start after his heroics against Feyenoord. I was going to say Fenerbahce then against Feyenoord, but both really good goalkeepers. So it's a great situation to be in to what we were over the last few years, where if it was Martinez injured, we were absolutely done. So, generally, but Marco Bizot, great backup. But it was Martinez yesterday, and he didn't really have a save to make, did he? But yeah, interesting tweaks with the formation. It almost felt like back when we finished fourth, wasn't it? When Emery's first full season, Donyell Malen almost played the Diaby role, which a lot of people have mentioned. I've seen on social media, and I thought that is a perfect explanation. It actually was something I was talking about last week with someone. I don't like to try and claim and pretend like, oh, look, I knew what was to come. I don't think I've been on record of saying it on one of these videos, but I'd have been interested to see him play off Watkins like Diaby did when he first came in as well. And that's, for me, when Villa were playing at their best, especially in that first half of the season when we finished fourth. And Daniel Malen pretty much played that role yesterday, and I think it really suited him. Obviously, he's got pace, and we're so accustomed to seeing that shot across goal that finds the back of the net. He's lethal from that area, and he took 2 terrific goals yesterday. I mean, the first one in particular, the pass from Boubacar Kamara was, wow, it was fantastic. I mean, I didn't really clock on at the time in the stadium how good that pass was, but watching the highlights back, it was unbelievable. I mean, what can't the man do? I mean, he covers so much ground. He does all the dirty work and he makes it look beautiful. And if he can add goals and assists to his game, even better. He'll be the complete midfielder. And he was fantastic again yesterday. And always a shout for man of the match, wasn't he? But that pass in for Marlon, he seemed to have taken it a bit wide, but he managed to come back on himself, fall into the ground finish, and he took it really well. And to be honest, I was really confident he was going to find the back of the net when the ball found its way to him, because he's so good in those areas. Okay, we haven't seen it this season, but we saw it for those 3 goals he scored last season. And yeah, I'd like to see a lot more of him. It does make me sometimes question, why hasn't he been featuring more? Look what he's capable of when he does play, or when he gets an extended opportunity. He more than took it yesterday. Okay, he hasn't on every occasion this season, but it's so difficult for him coming in and out. He's not getting the chance to form relationships with the other players. It's been difficult for him, so I was delighted to see him get a couple of goals yesterday. Likewise, similar story for Buendia, wasn't it? Someone that was in and out. He gets a bit of an extended run, and it pays off for him. So I think that's only going to benefit him, isn't it? And I mean, the second goal as well. Again, we're not going in chronological order, but whilst we're on the topic of his finishing, it was a fantastic strike, that second, and obviously even better than the first. I mean, just smashed it across goal. It was a beautiful one to watch, smash into the back of the net in the Holt end. It was a terrific strike, and I was absolutely over the moon for him to score that goal. And Villa, a convincing victory yesterday, wasn't it, really? I mean, first half, again, Villa took the lead, was in command. Just looking at the stats, 15 shots to Burnley's 5, 7 shots on target to Burnley's 2, 55% possession, so edge possession. And yeah, it was a pretty convincing performance. And like I say, Villa deserved more than the 2 goals they got, really. I mean, before we did score in that first half, there was the 2 chances from the corners, wasn't there? It was Ezri Konsa had a really good chance. And I think one drifted just past, was it Rodgers or Watkins? I'm not quite sure. So 2 well-worked corners by Villa, and probably should have had a goal or 2 from there. But yeah, we got in the lead, and then, like I say, it was only going to be 1 winner from there, wasn't it? Second half, again, I'm trying to think of Burnley having the opportunities. I think there was that one in the first half that just drifted wide, wasn't there? That did trouble Martinez, but it did just drift wide. I think it was from Cullen. And then, yeah, second half, Villa were just in complete command, really, and could have had more. I think Luca Dean had a really good strike towards the end with the outside of his foot as well. But it was Daniel Malen that took the acclaim for the goals. And, yeah, like I say, really happy to see him do so. But we've got to talk about the performances as well of Lamar Bogard. He was outstanding yesterday, wasn't he? A really great performance from him. Really growing every game, isn't he, at the minute? He's just getting better and better. And I think, again, the more time he gets, the better he's going to get. And what a role model he's got in Boubacar Kamara next to him, because quite similar-ish kind of players. Obviously, he's nowhere near Boubacar Kamara's standard yet, but he is a player he can aspire to be like and take a lot from. He's got quite a languished, laid-back style, like I said previously, and I mean that in a positive way. He does make things look effortless, and taking a bit more responsibility, and he's getting better, and he's going to get better with game time, and I do think he's definitely going to get a lot of game time this season, so he's only going to continue to grow, and we're starting to see why. There was a lot of interest in him in the past. I think there was teams linked with him last summer, wasn't there? I, for one, am very glad Villa have kept him. I'm sure all of you guys are as well now. He did feel a bit of a utility man in the past, didn't he? Sometimes being an out, he'd fill in at right back, he'd be in midfield, sometimes centre back. But I think that defensive midfield position He certainly is, and that's where he's got to play. Yes, he can fill in at those other positions as well, which is great. It's a bit of a Swiss Army knife in that sense, but I do think that midfield role is definitely his, that deep lying midfielder, and alongside Kamara, that was a really good partnership, and I'm excited to see a lot more of that. Obviously, Tielemans was still out, Onana and Barkley, the forgotten men. I had to rub my eyes when I saw them come on towards the end of the game. It's been a long time. Barkley took me by surprise, actually, seeing him back in the on the substitutes bench. Wasn't really expecting to see him back. Obviously, Onana, had a feeling he was going to return to the squad anyway after he was included in Belgium's national team, which was a surprise, wasn't it? Having played next to no minutes for the last month, I find that crazy. And Tielemans obviously still missing, which hopefully he can be back after the international break, because what a player that is to have back. I mean, to have won the 4 games without a player like Youri Tielemans says a lot. So hopefully he's back, because we're going to need him for those very tough fixtures coming up in a couple of weeks' time. But Villa have coped really well. Like I say, McGinn was a bit further forward yesterday. He didn't have as good a game as he has been. The high standard he set over the last couple of weeks. I mean, he set the bar so high for himself. He's been absolutely fantastic. Like I've said, real captain's couple of weeks from him, dragging his team through a difficult period and coming out the other end of it. But he had a quieter game yesterday. Again, by no means a bad performance. I think he looked tired as well, going into the last 20 or whenever it was when he went off. But yeah, real captain's couple of weeks from him, and others took the mantle yesterday and did what John McGinn had been doing so well the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I think like I say, I think everyone to a man was pretty outstanding yesterday. I think Matty Cash, again, another good performance from him. He went off. I don't know whether he picked up a knock. He didn't look quite comfortable towards the end, did he? Ezri Konsa. I mean, Ezri Konsa and Pau Torres, it's like looking at 2 Rolls Royces parked up in your garage, isn't it? I mean, them two, Pau Torres as well, back to his best. Ezri Konsa, we know what he's like. He's always been consistent, drops off here and there, but overall, always pretty consistent. One of the best centre-backs in the Premier League for me. But Pau Torres is really finding his feet again, finding his form, and so integral to an Unai Emery team. So it's great to see him back to his best and looking confident, because it makes such a difference to Aston Villa, doesn't it? So Unai Emery he got it spot on yesterday, didn't he? Like I say, the little tweaks made the difference, really. And like I've said a couple of occasions, 2-1 did flatter Burnley, who didn't really offer anything, did they? They were probably pressed a little bit more than I thought, came out a little bit more, which suited us, really. I mean, Burnley of old, what you're used to seeing is them sitting back, camping up, Sean Dyche kind of tactics. Obviously, they did have company in last time they was in the Premier League, and he was a bit naive with his tactics. So you feel like Scott Parker will be a little bit more reserved in the Premier League this year, but they didn't really offer much. And other than that, yes, they got that goal back, which was a sloppy goal to give away. It was a frustrating one to give away. Obviously, you want the clean sheet as well. Went through Emi Martinez's legs. Don't really think there was much he could have done about it. He's tried to close his legs as an it's from close range. Free header in the box. Poor defending from Villa. But listen, I never really had any doubt that we were going to see the game out. Just a bit frustrated not to get the clean sheet. Villa took their foot off the gas, didn't they, after the second goal? You could say, are they the type of games we should go and win 3-4? Because obviously we missed out on Champions League by goal difference, didn't we, last season? So will we look back on this again at the end of the season at games like this? I think, wow, they're games we could have won 3-4. For me, it's very rare it comes to goal differences, isn't it? I think it was a little bit unlucky last year to come down to that, but there is a case to say we should go and see these teams off. But like I say, any kind of victory at the moment is hard fought, and I'd have taken 3 points in any which way yesterday, and to be honest, most weeks I will. So there'll be no complaints from me for that. It was an all-round positive performance from Villa. Obviously, we saw the subs come on. Onana, like I say, made his return and celebrated at the end like he'd never been away, didn't he? I was saying to who I was sat with, I said, I wonder if he'll do his customary olays at the end of today, because obviously he's barely played and he's come on for literally just a few minutes at the end of the game. But no, he was straight up there, straight up in front of the whole 10, giving it big ones again. And people do refer to him as the cheerleader, but listen, I don't want to disrespect him too much by calling him a cheerleader, but he loves it, doesn't he? And you know, it's good to see. It's good to see. I've got no issue with it. He's enjoying a victory, and it's good to have him back. Hopefully, we can see a lot more of him in the coming weeks, and he comes back injury free from Belgium, because that's the problem with Onana. He's just been so in and out. We just haven't seen enough, have we? Unfortunately, we haven't seen enough to justify that 50 million, but he just hasn't really had the time on the pitch to do so. So hopefully he can stay fit, and hopefully we can see the best of him. A lot of comparisons now, isn't there, between him and Bogarde? People saying Bogarde's better. I do think we have this bit of a toxic trait in us as Villa fans. We almost have to villainise one of them, and like if we've got two players in a position, we have to almost go against each other, and one has to be better than the other. But it's good to have options. It doesn't have to be that. It's not a case of Bogarde's better than Onana or whatever. Like it doesn't need to be that. We need options. Look where we've been in the last couple of weeks, the amount of injuries in midfield, and luckily Villa's midfield has been so stacked. We've been able to cover, and Bogarde's come in and done a great job, and Amadou Onana, for me, he's still ahead of him when he's fit. But Bogarde is definitely going to give him a run for his money for that position. And at the moment, he probably would keep the shirt. But both young and both got plenty of potential. And it's a great problem for Villa to have. I mean, alongside Boubacar Kamara and, of course, Youri Tielemans to come back. So, yeah, it's a really good thing for Villa to have them back. Of course, Ross Barkley as well. You'd feel like he's going to find it difficult to get into the team from the off at any point as well. But obviously with the amount of Europa League games we're going to have too, there's going to be opportunity for everyone, and everyone's going to be needed. So it's great to have him back as well. Hopefully he can find some form too. Lindelof came on as well, didn't he? Again, he's just getting a few minutes here and there. I think he came on at right back, didn't he, for Matty Cash when he went off. So he's a bit of a utility man. He's all over the place, isn't he, Victor Lindelof? Centre back, right back, midfield, all covering everywhere when needed. Obviously Gesson came. I expected to see Gesson start actually, because he seems to have been a mainstay in the team over the last few weeks. I think Unai Emery likes the balance he brings in terms of his defensive work as well. But to be honest, I did think we looked a little bit more fluid going forward with Rodgers as well. Rodgers was better yesterday, wasn't he? A bit more like it. Got himself an assist as well. It was a good assist. He probably should have had a goal. There was one or two opportunities. That one from Dubravka, which is slightly lifted. I think it was a rebound off a Malen shot or a Watkins shot, and that rebounded, and Rodgers slightly lifted it. I think if he'd have kept it low, he probably could have slid it under Dubravka, but it was a good save, and Dubravka, it was one of many good saves that he made. But Rodgers, I think, it's easy, we can sit here and say, he's nowhere near what he was last season, but I think there was a lot of games last season similar to that where we would say similar things about Rodgers, that he needs to take the shot on a bit earlier, or needs to improve his final ball. But I was enthused by his performance. I do think he's slowly getting back there, and I think a couple of weeks with England now will probably benefit him. He seems confident when he goes away with England, so hopefully he has a good performance, one or two performances with England, and comes back even more confident. So he's getting back there. Watkins as well. I think Watkins worked hard when he was on, was involved in a lot of what was good going forward. I'm sure he'll be disappointed not to get a goal. I saw those people talking about him walking straight off. I actually didn't notice that, so I can't comment too much on it. Obviously, people will read into that and say that he's stropping. Look, I think any time Ollie Watkins goes off a football pitch without scoring, I don't think he's going to be happy. I don't think that's to say that he's not pleased the team have won or anything like that. I think strikers are selfish, and Ollie Watkins in the past probably hasn't been selfish enough, so I don't really have too much of an issue with that. We want him to start scoring more and being a bit more clinical in front of goal, but I thought his performance yesterday was okay, and I thought he was involved in a lot of what was good going forward, and it was a bit of a throwback to, like I said at the start of this video, that Diaby and Watkins combination we saw a couple of years back, and with Daniel Malen this time, and I was really enthused to see that. So hopefully we see a lot more of that after the international break. So no issues with him, to be honest. I thought it was a pretty good performance from Ollie Watkins. Obviously Harvey Elliott didn't make it on. Interesting, isn't it, with Harvey Elliott at the minute? He doesn't seem to quite fancy him, does he? Obviously he did say that he was moving the ball too quickly a couple of weeks ago after that Sunderland game. Obviously us fans are quite eager to see more of him, aren't we? But it looks like it's going to take him a little while to bed in. There's already talk of that. Is he not playing him because he doesn't want him? We don't want to trigger that that clause. I think that's probably said tongue in cheek by what I've seen, but that definitely isn't the case. I think he only needs to make 10 Premier League appearances. So, I mean, he's probably already on 4 or 5, I would have thought. So it's definitely not that. It's definitely not that. He will be a permanent signing for Villa. And, as we've seen, look at Daniel Malen, who continues to be bled in slowly. Obviously, we've seen Gesson come in and play more, which is more rare for Unai Emery to put players in and play regular minutes straight away. Obviously, Morgan Rogers was another one. He was bled in slowly. So I don't think it's too much to worry about. I think it's a great option to have. So hopefully, again, is another one I do want to see more of, but it's good for Villa to have these options. The bench did look strong yesterday. There was a couple of games earlier on in the season, wasn't there, when we were struggling with injuries more so, where the bench did look weak, especially compared to last season where we had a really strong bench in the second half of the campaign anyway. But now the bench looks strong again, and it's starting to feel like Villa again, isn't it? It's starting to feel like what we've become accustomed to over the last couple of years, and I was really pleased with yesterday's display. Like I've said, Emi Buendia again, he was another one because he was someone we was probably all expecting to see start after his fantastic goal last week in the week against Feyenoord, and obviously scored last weekend as well against Fulham, didn't he? So he was the man in form we probably all expected to see him, but he wasn't to be. And I think it's just rotation again. Like Villa are playing a lot of games, aren't they? It's Thursday, Sunday. So there's going to be rotation. That's what your squad's for. I think it's good. I think, like we say, there's not necessarily a starting 11 now, is there? Football's changed now, especially with 5 substitutes. You kind of got your finishers as well. So, again, good to see Villa can rotate and take players out that are playing well and bring in other players like Daniel Malen, and he can come in and make as big an impact himself. So it's just fantastic, really. And it all feels good again. It all feels positive. The only thing that wasn't positive was, of course, that head injury to Emi Buendia, that elbow. There was a nasty elbow, wasn't it? Again, watching it back from Zian Fleming, I think. It was a bad elbow. Probably could have been a red card on another day. It was too late in the game to make an impact anyway. The game was pretty much done. We saw it go over 100 minutes because of that. But I was a bit worried about Emi Buendia because he was down for a long time, wasn't he? We saw the medic was holding his head still for a long time. So I was very relieved to see him get up and walk off the pitch because it didn't look good at one point. I was quite concerned, but once he got himself up, hopefully he's okay. Seems like he is. So fingers crossed, a speedy recovery for him. But that was probably the only negative to see. But yeah, so it was a good victory for Villa. I'm really pleased. Things are starting to look a bit rosier again, aren't they? I mean, let's have a look at the table again. Like I keep saying, I will always look at the table, but you can't read too much into it after 7 games. I think you can probably start seeing it start to take shape a little bit after 10 or so games. But Villa have climbed, again, I think 3 more places, up to 13th, onto 9 points now. So slowly climbing up the table. Again, it's still a bit all over the place, isn't it, the league table? When you look at it, you've got Bournemouth up in 4th. Newcastle, like us, finding a bit of form as well. They got another win yesterday, and it looks like Forest could struggle big time this year, doesn't it? They lost. Burnley are obviously going to be down there, but we want to be looking up the table now, don't we? We want to be looking at those ahead of us and who can we start clambering over. But like I say, the league table starts to take shape after 10 or so games, and it's the next 10 for Villa that are going to be. The next 3 games for Villa, guys, that are going to be difficult, isn't it? Like we've mentioned in previous videos, Tottenham to come up away, Man City at home, and then Liverpool away. So that is three big games and 3 tough games. Tottenham are playing a hell of a lot better than they were last season. Obviously, they did thump us at, I was going to say White Hart Lane, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Last year, didn't they? I think it was 4-1, was it? I think we went 1-0 up and lost 4-1, so it was a terrible second half from Villa. But it's always going to be tough when you go there. We know that. We've had previous... I mean, I've been there a few times myself and seen us win on a couple of occasions. And so Villa are definitely capable. They are 100%. Man City at home, we know we can beat Man City at home. We've done that a couple of times over the last couple of seasons. Liverpool away, he's difficult, but again, they've lost 3 in a week. crisis starting there now, isn't it? Go ahead Eagles in the middle of there as well. So yeah, I can't wait. I already can't wait. I'm already itching to get back. I hate the international break. It's just so dull. It's so boring, isn't it? Watching the England games. It was a little bit better last international break because England played at Villa Park. Managed to get down for that one, but yeah, it is boring. It's not, the weekends aren't the same without football, are they? Interesting to watch the Villa players on international duty again. The international break last time, the Villa players were scoring goals left, right and centre, weren't they? So Matty Cash got himself a couple, didn't he? He almost had a goal yesterday as well. That was another good strike. I think it deflected and Dubravka made a good save there. So Matty Cash is fancying himself from distance, isn't he, at the minute? And long may that continue. But yeah, so it's going to be a real interesting spell after this international break and see where Villa can, what we can do from here, and we'll really start to see over that next month if we can really push those European spots again in the league, not just the Europa League. And yeah, I can't wait to get back to it. But yeah, really happy with yesterday. Another 3 points on the board, 4 in a row. Things are definitely looking on the up now, aren't they? And Villa have turned the season around after a crisis a couple of weeks ago, the Emery out. Like I said, I don't think any genuine Villa fan was talking about Emery out. You know, there was reason to be concerned. We weren't scoring goals, but the goals are starting to flow again. But you can't doubt Unai Emery, a manager of his capability. We're lucky to have him at Villa, aren't we? And long may that continue, and long may he be the Aston Villa manager, because he's the best we've seen. Well, he's the best I've ever seen. So I hope this continues, and I hope he gets the trophy he deserves at the end of the season. But as always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you go to the game yesterday? Did you watch it? What were your thoughts? Let me know your thoughts with the international break. Any games looking forward to watching? If you are, let me know, because I'm not, to be honest. But yeah, always love to hear your thoughts, guys. And we'll end it, as always, with a big up the